Hello everyone and welcome to the 2022 SABIC London E-Prix pre-race press conference, starting with our team principals. Firstly, we have James Barclay from Jaguar TCS Racing, Chevaucher from Techeetah, and finally Sylvain Filippi from Envision Racing. A question for you all to begin with. We've had a slight tweak to the layout here in London. What are your thoughts and how might this impact the race, starting with you, Sylvain?
I like it, but I'm not the one running it, so our drivers said it's really quite fast, which I think will be good for the fans. Personally, I think fast corners are always pretty impressive and pretty good, so on paper it's looking good. We'll see tomorrow, but yeah, should be good.
James, did it affect preparation?
Not affect, it just meant we kind of had to, obviously as part of our simulation, really kind of look at those new areas of the track. The previous back-to-back hairpins, it was right to change that. I think we saw a lot of incidents there, just very, very tight radius corners that were too much really. So it was the right decision to change it. What we've got is actually quite a fast chicane, so probably not as slow as people maybe thought it might be. It's actually quite a fast chicane, very similar to what we saw with Rome. There's not a lot of room for error, so actually it's really about being neat and accurate through there, and it is high speed. So yeah, that's the kind of key change. We still have some the attack mode location is worked really well last year. I think that will, it's obviously not changed and remains the case this year. And that really technical first sector, going down the down ramp, those are kind of critical, and hopefully have a clean start there.
Thomas, anything to add?
Yeah, I would definitely echo what they said. We removed one place where we had a few issues, but probably something that will be one of the biggest challenge of the season. Fast chicane, very close to the wall. Definitely the first feedback I had from the drivers is that will be a proper challenge, and there will be a lot of lap time there. So we're really looking forward to it. We are back in that very nice track in London, big city. That's where Formula E likes to be and Formula E has to be. So yeah, we are very happy to be here and very looking forward to that track.
James, now obviously a home race for the team, Jaguar TCS Racing, and for Sam, of course. What does that mean for a race team and a driver?
Pressure is a privilege, right? So no, we're really pleased, honestly. It's great to be racing at home. Racing in London, a phenomenal capital of the world as well, right? So it's fantastic for us to have it as our home race as well. So we actually just see it as a real privilege that we can race at home. We have a lot of, obviously, our employees coming to see us, which is really lovely. So that kind of hometown support is always a nice thing to have as well. So from that perspective, yeah, we just see it as a real positive. Take it like every race. It's going to be incredibly competitive. This is Formula E, so we just enjoy that challenge, but with the added benefit of the hometown support.
So just looking back briefly, the team scored some solid points in New York on the back of some other races before that. Are you confident at this point that you can close the gap in the teams, which I'm talking about, on the top three on home soil?
Honestly, I've talked about the past. We just have to take every race as it comes. You can't take anything for granted. You can't be complacent in any way. We just have to do our job as best we can, and then the results will speak for themselves, right? You have to trust the process, and let's see where the result gets us. But I think we have shown that we're absolutely kind of competitive. It's getting incredibly close. DS very, very strong. DS Techeetah really strong. Mercedes strong. Venturi strong. Sylvain Envision had a really good New York, showcase. So it's incredibly close. So we are seeing, some consistent form emerging from a number of competitors. And these next four races are going to be really exciting about that. And I think off the back of London, we'll then be able to see where we stand coming into Seoul for the title showdown.
And Sylvain, that's also a home race for Envision, of course, and with the team based in Silverstone. Is it business as usual when it comes to preparation? Is there any extra focus because it's a home race?
No, the preparation is similar. We have a lot of guests and team members here and whatever, so exactly as James, it's nice to have everyone coming here and see what we did as a day job. Apart from that, no, it's very similar preparation. The track is very interesting and very challenging. And we've had a lot of back-to-back races, right? Races every 2 weeks, so the teams have been really pushed to work really hard and late nights between races. Because a few days on simulator in between races, and here we are again. So yeah, it's been really busy, but yeah, it's a good track. It should be really good.
I think it's safe to say, back in the game after New York City, after a few difficult races prior to that, how did it all come together? What was it about that first race in New York that allowed you to maximise the points?
I wish I had all the answers, but Yeah, we had some bad races earlier to that. This was mostly down to tires and temperature and tarmac. So we kind of knew what the problem was. Didn't know enough to fix it, but we had some issues. Back in New York, the car setup and all the controls were pretty perfect for that layout and for that track, as it happened in previous years. So yeah, it came pretty easy to us over there. And you have some of these weekends where the pace is just incredible and everything works. So we're hoping for similar showing here and so these tracks are a bit more normal and typical Formula E tracks. So hopefully we are a bit better.
And Thomas, Jeff seemed to struggle a little bit in New York City. The pace was there for sure, just being back in the race in the order always makes things more complicated. But then with Techeetah's win, it was a big weekend and well needed as well for team points.
Yeah, it was probably the best result we had in the worst weekend we had. So definitely it was good to show to ourselves and to everybody that we are still capable of winning races. I didn't have any doubt about that, but it's always easy to say, more difficult to do. Regarding Jeff and Antonio, I would say on Saturday, we had a bad day. I think bad days are happening. We had a little number of bad days during the beginning of the season, so you can think at one point that everything is always done, but it's never, especially in Formula E. I do think that Saturday, if rain would have come 1 minute later or 1 minute earlier, we would have had a very difficult weekend. It's not to look for excuse, it's just that we don't have to blame ourselves or to look at performance. I think both drivers were very performing. We saw it in the race, and we all know that when you are starting in the pack in a Formula E race, it makes your life much more difficult, which was the case for us definitely. We had a lot of contact during the weekend, except for Antonio, for the only car which started at the front of the pack. So I would say quality are key. We have to be there. It was a little mistake for Jeff on Sunday, but to be honest, it was a very little one. So I'm not concerned about performance. We didn't score a lot of points, that is factual, but the reason for that are not so serious, so I'm confident that we'll be back.
Okay, James, Mitch, obviously he's right up there in the title fight. He's there ready to capitalise as much as he can, as he was last year. How are you approaching these final few races with that in mind? Is it the same, or is there a different approach to really make sure it happens this time around?
Yeah, like I said, we can only control the things that we can control, right? And Mitch is performing really, really well. We've seen that for a long time, but especially over the last 2 seasons, really see him coming to his stride. And obviously the championship, unlucky at the end, with the issue we had, almost took that chance away from him last year. But this year, he's absolutely kind of, especially in the second half, he's been phenomenal. Great race in Rome, he was absolutely stellar. So he's a world championship driver, and we can just give him the best car possible, work together in the best way, and ultimately kind of try and do everything we can control in the best way possible. That's just Formula E. The competition will also be in the thick of it. We have no doubt about that. It's not going to be an easy ride. But I think the great thing is we have a driver that's performing incredibly well, a team that is really working well, and a car that has shown consistency as well. But we just need to keep on working. But yeah, he's driving phenomenally well. We're really proud to see how he's really kind of continuing to improve and put on phenomenal races.
It's a good place to be at this point of the season for sure. Sylvain, Nick had a bit of a roller coaster weekend in New York. Obviously, the win in the first day and then having to start from the back in the second race. Is he hoping for a good weekend this weekend? Is he confident that he can show that same pace and form again that we saw in New York?
Yeah, absolutely. Nick was very affected by our kind of car setup and performance issues and lack of grip over the previous races. But really, the speed is absolutely there. And as soon as the car is where he needs it to be, then he's flying with very little practice. So, yeah, zero doubt at all on the car pace or his pace. We just need to put it together. And as these guys have said, and nobody's doing a bad job, right? Like sometimes we are disappointed if we start 12th on the grid. Mm-hmm. That's 2/10 slower than pole position, right? It's extremely tight. So you have to absolutely find every little margin to start at the front, which is a better position to when you start the race. So yeah, looking for a really good result. The car is fitting, if the car track combination works well, then you're in a good place.
And just one final question before we open up to questions for the floor. This is for both Sylvain and James. Looking ahead to Gen 3, you're working collaboratively as a manufacturer and supplier. How much has been going on behind the scenes and how's everything going?
Yeah, happy to jump to you first. Yeah, well, I mean, good thing is we've started the kind of gestation period for the Gen 3 cars. We started some time ago, but it's really great now. Firstly, to have kind of confirmed the division will be our customer team, and you know, Sylvain and the team chose to use Jaguar, which is great. And now we're in that early phase of our track testing, so it's been great to have Sylvain and the team part of that, right from literally day one, being with us and being part of that process. So yeah, a long way to go. A lot of manufacturer testing and team testing still do. So it's a good start, and yeah, already bringing the two organisations close together ahead of Gen 3 has been nice to be part of.
Yeah, I can. It's early days in the testing, right? So there's a long way to go. At the moment, we are practicing the commute between the two sites, you know, to see what's the quickest way to get there and back and so on. But it's really nice. The teams know each other really well already. We are working together and putting together all the elements that we can, but it's early days, so there's still so much we need to learn about the car and everything else. So yeah, early days, but so far so good.